everyone. Welcome to Faces of Falls Church. I'm Melissa Robison.
And I'm Donna Byrne. And on this program, we'll feature Arbor Day 2022 in the City of Falls Church. Arbor Day is the day where groups and individuals are encouraged to plant trees. As many of you may know, the City of Falls Church has the honor of being a Tree City USA, designated by the National Arbor Day Foundation. This distinction honors the city's commitment to community forestry.
In fact, Falls Church City is the first Virginia community to be recognized as a tree city and maintains the longest state record for this award. The 2022 event took place at Jesse Thackeray Preschool with speeches by community members and the planting of an American yellowwood tree. Watch as we attend the 2022 Arbor Day ceremony and interview Falls Church City's arborist, Charles Prince.
Good afternoon. This is wonderful that we get back together in person again and actually celebrate outdoors, and hopefully this is just the beginning of much more. So welcome, and as you may know, the Village Society has been involved with the tree programs in the city for a long time, starting in 1892, but we probably wouldn't be if it wasn't for a very special person that is little recognized in the U.S., and making it my mission to have him become more known. The tree programs from the Arbor Day Foundation started in Nebraska, and of course was an East Coast guy that went out to the West and said, hey, there's no trees here, so let's start planting. But it didn't travel that far initially, and the person who really gets the credit for spreading it across not only the United States but to Japan and Europe was a guy named Birdsey Northrup. And Birdsey was the head of, he was originally a congregational preacher, went on to be a teacher and head of the school systems for the state of Connecticut. And he traveled throughout the United States to spread the word on having the city beautiful movements and making towns and cities look better and having tree-lined streets. So if you go down a place and you see the tree-lined streets, they may have thought of it anyway somewhere else, but Birdsey Northrup was the guy that brought that about. And so we hope to be able to recognize him more formally later on. But for today's program, first up, as you see, is our Mayor Tarter, who's been a long-term part of the program, not as long as Birdsey Northrup, but you've been hanging in there a long time.
All right, thanks, Keith. Let's give a big round of applause. How about to Keith and VPIS for all the great work they've done. There you go. So welcome to the 2022 Arbor Day celebration. It's great to be back in person, right, on a beautiful day like this. On behalf of my colleagues from Council, I want to welcome you again here, and we've got most of them. Dave Snyder in the back, Mary Beth Conley, Phil Duncan there, and we've got the city manager, Wyatt Shields, and the assistant city manager, Cindy Mester, and a whole lot of other folks here. I'm just going to maybe stick with them. But it's great to be back in person. This is, I believe, the city's 130th Arbor Day celebration, the most in the state of Virginia. To my understanding, we're the first in the state of Virginia. 44 consecutive Tree USA designations, Tree City USA designations, which is also the greatest in the state of Virginia. So we're putting our money where our mouth is. Let's give us, how about give ourselves a round of applause. So yesterday was also Earth Day, so it's really a time to reflect about kind of all the great things that nature does for us and how we can maybe make that a little bit better. Trees do a lot of great things for the city. Some of those are take carbon dioxide out of the air, make it the air cleaner, preserve our soil from runoff, help us get rid of flooding, soak up some of the water for flooding. Yep, you like that, Sandy? I like that. Just in general, make it a great place to be. It's really one of the great things that makes Falls Church special. So we did a proclamation that I'd like to read a little bit in part to you all. And let's see if I can get my glasses. This is a City Council proclamation, and I'm going to read just a little bit of it for you if I could. Proclamation, whereas in 1892, the first observance of Arbor Day in the Commonwealth of Virginia took place in Falls Church at the old Jefferson School, organized by the Village Improvement Society, predecessor to VPIS. Each April since 1974, Falls Church has held a citywide celebration of Arbor Day, encouraging all community members to plant and care for trees. Whereas the City of Falls Church has been designated a Tree City USA by the National Arbor Day Foundation for 44 consecutive years. So it looks like this year the American Yellowwood tree has been selected as Tree of the Year by the Falls Church Urban Forestry Commission. And what I've done is recognize today as Arbor Day. So now, therefore, I, David Tarter, Mayor of the City of Falls Church, in recognition of the value that our community places on trees, do hereby proclaim April 23rd, 2022 as Arbor Day in the City of Falls Church and urge all citizens to join in the celebration like we're doing right now. So congratulations to everyone. Let's have a wonderful celebration and plant a tree. Thank you all.
Welcome everyone. My name is Amy Crumpton and I am the chair of the Urban Forestry Commission for the City of Falls Church. Mayor Tarter basically said everything I was going to say, so there's not much left except I really appreciate that you're here, and on behalf of the Urban Forestry Commission, we are very grateful for being in a city that cares about its trees and having staff. Where's Charles? Charles, raise your hand. Having an arborist, Charles Prince, who has been a wonderful colleague to work with, and in making sure that we protect what we have and keep it resilient into the future, because we really don't know what's coming at us. I understood that there was a hope that we were going to be able to have some of the faculty or maybe the students be at this program, but of course it's a Saturday, so they couldn't be here. But if they had been able to come, they were going to sing, which I don't know, a chorus of small children singing always, gets me right here. So, but I won't sing this song. No, it's a song by Barney, and I don't really know it. But it's all about a tree, and it's all about the grass around the tree and the bird on the tree. And I hope that when those kids come back next week, they come out here and they sing to this tree, because this tree would love that, and I would love to know that they are caring for this tree and proud to have it in their school. So thank you very much for coming.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you so much for coming out. I'm Charles Prince. I am the City Arborist. I'm so happy to see everyone in person. I've been missing having Arbor Day in person for 2 years. We did cobble together some videos. Not my favorite way to celebrate, but we did. But thank you all so much for coming out. The mayor, Amy, covered a lot of what needs to be said today. But I will say, as a city, we're going to keep planting all the trees that we can. We've already got 25 trees listed for this spring. So please ask your neighbors to sign up for trees for the fall. Yes, yes, we have 2 new staff members. Thank you. Paul and Manuel, they're standing there in the back. They're the newest Urban Forestry crew members. I am very happy to be staffed after being about a year without any staff, which made for some challenging times. But we were able to work our way through it. But just want to thank all the speakers that came today, and Jeff Peterson here. Oh, right there, Jeff. Please come to the mic.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome again. And I'm Jeff Peterson. I'm the president of the Village Preservation Improvement Society. My job today is to tell you just a little bit about the Neighborhood Tree Program, which is a cooperative effort between the city and the Village Preservation Improvement Society. The biggest thing you need to remember about the Neighborhood Tree Program is you can get a free tree planted in front of your house in the right-of-way between the street and your house. And all you have to do is call the city to get on the list. And so I hope everyone will take that away as kind of the key thing that they could do this spring to help make their own property a better place, but also to help make the city a better place. There's so many great things about trees. The Neighborhood Tree Program has been working for over 20 years to help increase the number of trees, particularly along the streets throughout the city. Altogether, the Neighborhood Tree Program has planted close to 500 trees all across the city. Just last year, I think the count was 68 trees planted, which is good, and we're hoping to even do better in the future with a goal of 100 trees planted every year. So there are some really huge benefits to those trees. They provide shade, which is really nice, particularly when it gets hot. But they also help soak up stormwater so it doesn't run off and damage the creeks and streams. They also store carbon so that they're helping contribute to reducing global warming. Lots of valuable reasons to have a tree. There are some economic reasons as well. Lots of people have studied trees in particularly urban places, and it's pretty widely reported that having trees along the street in front of your house increases your property values by up to 15%. So if we were to get trees everywhere across the city where we could, we'd be helping raise everyone's property value, and that's a good thing. Certainly, I think Wyatt's looking forward to seeing those property values increase.
We're seeing them increase.
But there's another, the tree program plants trees, and that's a good thing. But it's called the neighborhood tree program. So another really valuable thing, besides actually getting trees in the ground, is that it's a volunteer-focused enterprise. So for years and years, from the very beginning, there have been teams of volunteers who come out on the weekend to put a tree in the ground. And we've had to back away from that, unfortunately, during COVID, but now that we're coming out of that, we're hoping to get back to the volunteer community spirit building component of this entire process. And you know, the social psychologists, they talk about this idea of place attachment. What makes you attached to the place where you live? Why do you like where you live or even love where you live? And sometimes people just grew up in the town and they think, well, that's the reason I love it. But one thing that's really valuable to building people's attachment to a place is to have volunteer opportunities to do something good for your community. Not just live here and go to school or go to work and buy groceries, but actually step up and do something that is good for you or good for the community more generally. And one of the key things that the Village Preservation Society is all about is trying to create those opportunities so that people who are interested in doing something for their community have a way to do it. And the neighborhood tree program is one of those ways that's really easy for anybody from 10 to 90 can volunteer to help plant a tree. So we hope to get back to that long tradition and not only get more trees in the ground, but give people the opportunity to do something constructive and beneficial for their community. So thanks very much, and we're looking forward to a really impressive year. I want to say one last thing. A key part of this community building enterprise is we need leaders who are experts in trees and can help organize and deliver the volunteers that help plant trees. There's a really great program in Arlington called the Tree Stewards Program where people are trained to actually learn a lot about how to plant a tree so that once you get it in the ground, it survives into the next year, and how to plant them and where to plant them. And Pete Markham, who's here today, has recently completed the Tree Stewards Program. And so this is not just going on the internet and answering a few questions online. This is a long-term training program. I don't know how many sessions you had. I think it's a really thorough training in all things trees. Anyone who'd like to be a tree steward, actually the Village Preservation Society has a program where we will pay your tuition to the Tree Stewards Program if you'd like to do it. So that's another pitch for getting really up to speed on how to plant trees and how to manage trees. But we thank you, Pete, for all your work on that.
Well, good afternoon. What a glorious day, especially after some of the weather we've had in the past couple of weeks. It's a great day to come out and celebrate trees. My name is Jim McGlone. I am an urban forest conservationist with the Virginia Department of Forestry, and I am here today on behalf of the National Arbor Day Foundation and the National Association of State Foresters, who created the Tree City USA program. I always like coming to Falls Church. I've been doing this now for 16 years, and throughout that time, the words Earth Day almost never occur in Falls Church. It's all about Arbor Day. And as the proclamation mentioned, this is the 150th anniversary of Arbor Day in the U.S. The first Arbor Day was in 1872 in Nebraska. On that day, they planted almost 1 million trees, which is pretty impressive until you realize that they spent $2 million in 1872 to get those trees planted. So if we were to come up with a whole lot of money to pay people to plant trees, we might get more in the ground. As was mentioned, the City of Falls Church has been part of the Tree City USA program for 44 years. That's the longest of any community in Virginia. And I would like to amend one thing the mayor said. You have not been granted this award, you have been recognized with this award for the work that you've done. There are several components. The first is you have to have either a citizens group or professional staff, and Falls Church has both, to look after the trees. You have to have city ordinances that protect the trees. You have to spend at least $2 per person on taking care of your trees. And the final thing is you have to have a public Arbor Day celebration. So it is my pleasure to recognize the City of Falls Church as a Tree City USA for the 44th year. Like I said, they changed the folding. Congratulations to the City of Falls Church.
How about a group picture? You want to get one, Jeff? Well, let's all get up for a group photo.
Start the singing.
I'll start the singing.
I had a brief.
He needs to be in it.
Listen up.
I'm doing stuff and I'm not at home.
Blah, blah, blah.
Okay, so we're talking to Charles Prince today. Today is Falls Church Arbor Day, and you are the Falls Church Arborist.
I am.
That's great. And how long have you done that?
I've been the city arborist for about 2 years, but I've worked for the city 15 years.
Oh, okay. What were you doing for the city beforehand?
I was working on the operations crew, doing all the tree work, and now as the arborist, I get to run the program that does the tree work.
That's great. So you
Yeah.
have all this background experience with the city and with trees and everything. And
Oh yeah, I know so many community members. Today was great. It's the first time in person seeing most of them. Yes, I know all the community members. I know all the trees. I get to see the trees that I planted grow. So it's a whole lot of fun.
That's great. So what does it mean to be the arborist? Like, what is a day in the life of city arborist?
Oh, that's a fun one. So from a high level, there's a lot of plan review, like these big mixed-use developments. I get to review those to ensure we get the most trees we possibly can. We get to review the single-family developments to ensure they're meeting code compliance, which usually requires planting trees and most definitely saving trees when they can. A lot of phone calls and emails, just people asking questions about trees or request that tree work gets done. So I get to interact a lot with the community there, and I get to review code and code compliance, and so that's a new area for me. It's a lot of fun. It's a little tedious, but it's good.
Tell me how the city of Falls Church stands out as far as like being a tree city as opposed to other cities or towns in Virginia?
The city's been celebrating Arbor Day since before it was really Arbor Day. The city's tree canopy coverage is 50%. That means 50% of our land in the city of Falls Church is covered under trees. That's a whole lot more than any neighboring jurisdictions. So that's kind of a point of pride for the city. We have 50% canopy coverage.
Okay, and we're the city that has the first Arbor Day.
Yes. In the state.
In the state.
Yes.
Yeah. So we have quite a reputation.
We do, and as Jim noted, speaking earlier today, he's been here for 16 years, and he's seen a whole lot of change as well. So there's a lot of change in the programs and the people that run them, but overall the community loves its trees and really wants to see the arborists succeed in their role.
And I know there's a lot of historic trees in the city as well.
Yes, there are a number of specimen trees that the city has. They're designated by the Urban Forestry Commission, and it's more of a recognition program just to say that, hey, this tree is unique for its species and large for its species, and just really points out all the bigger trees that we have in the city.
Okay. Well, that's great. Well, it was great talking to you today. Is there anything else you'd like to add about Arbor Day?
No, I mean, I think all the speakers today really hit all the high points. The city has a long history of celebrating Arbor Day and really living up to the spirit of Arbor Day. All the community members really enjoy having a celebration, and it's great just to have it back in person this year.
Well, great. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Back to my house, more mulching. Come on, everybody.
Nice try, Dave.
See, I gotta train you. Come on, you don't know how to mulch yet. All right. Yeah. A lot more to do. I know. What's that? Oh, good Lord, Sandy, get off my back. Got promoted to supervisor. Yeah, there we go. Sandy, you're aware of that. Yes. I've now moved up advanced to supervisor. All right, go to.
You know, Dave, if you say that, then lunch is on you.
What's that?
If you say that, then lunch is on you.
Yeah, what is? It's right there. Go have it. It's right behind you. Just go eat today, but enjoy it.
That was a really great Arbor Day celebration, and I really enjoyed the planting of the yellowwood tree.
Yeah, that was really fun, and I liked hearing about the arborist, a day in the life, and what he does at work. So that was interesting. Well, thank you all for watching, and we'll be back next time with another Faces of Falls Church.
Thank you.